What's going on, everybody? Rob from robthetrainer.com. In the video here, I'm going to be discussing sprint intervals, specifically in this video on the treadmill. However, you could be doing this, with a rower. You could do this on an Airdyne bike or a spin bike, or obviously outside, just running up and down turf, pushing a sled, whatever you want. A lot of the general rules kind of still apply here. I decided to shoot this while I was talking to you because nobody really needs to see me sprinting on a treadmill, being out of breath, and then trying to explain this. And I think everybody at one point has used a treadmill or whatever piece of cardio equipment that you choose to do these sprints on. So, like I said, since you're familiar with that part, let's just talk sort of about how we do this. So a sprint interval, generally, we want to use or rather we use it as a conditioning protocol. So somewhere that we can kind of get that heart rate up, make sure that we're improving performance as well as, like I said, improving conditioning. But then we also want to make sure that we're giving you enough rest so that you can come back to that next sprint interval fully rested and ready to go again. So because of that, I generally prescribe my sprints anywhere between 10 to 15 seconds max. And I give you usually a 3-to-1 rest to work ratio, sometimes 4-to-1 as well, depending on the duration of the sprint here, and also what the workout previously looked like if it's at the end of a workout. If we're doing it on the treadmill, there's a couple ways that you can go about it. The first one, again, would be to hop on the treadmill, turn the thing on, crank it up to a speed that you know that you can run at. That's going to be pretty close to a max sprint for you. And once the speed hits that point, let's say you set it at a 10, once the belt gets moving and it's at a 10, that would be the beginning of that countdown. So let's say you're sprinting for 10 seconds, the treadmill hits 10 on the speed, that's when you'll start counting down 10, 9, 8, et cetera, et cetera. Now you have two options on how you want to turn it off or how you want to rest. You can either hit the stop button on the treadmill or whatever piece of equipment, if it's a belt-powered thing, and your rest interval begins immediately. Or if you're one of the braver souls that likes to sort of straddle the treadmill, you can hop off, placing your feet on the runway there while the belt runs between you, rest for whatever that desired amount of time is that's built into the program, and then resume. The catch is that if you are hitting the stop button on the treadmill, which again I usually tell people is slightly safer, especially if you don't feel like really confident on it or super coordinated, that's fine. Your rest interval is going to start the second you hit that stop button, but your work interval won't start until that treadmill gets back up to whatever that sprint pace was that you were at. So again, if you're doing sprint intervals at a 10 speed, you hit the stop button and you're taking 30 seconds of rest. I would advise you to start the treadmill back up around 25 seconds into that rest period. But like I said, your work speed or your work sprint rather won't start until that treadmill gets back up to 10. So as the treadmill belt starts to ramp up, it's 2 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour, whatever it is, you don't get to count any of that time until it hits that 10 mark. So that's sort of the benefit for those who like to straddle the treadmill. They just kind of get a little bit more work done, and they're not waiting around a little bit as the thing gets going again. But obviously a little bit of a risk there too. Your foot slips or something like that, you might take a spill on the treadmill, and nobody wants to look like a doofus at the gym either. So your options are, like I said, are plentiful there, but each one has its own kind of payoff. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@robthetrainer.com. Take care.